My name is Christina Eng, and I'm a scientist at Pfizer. I'm in the Oncology Target Discovery Group. We tried to build off of the discoveries that happen in academic research, tried to actually translate some of those findings into things that can actually become medicines for patients one day. Today, many approaches focus on targeting tumors and to try to stop those cancer cells directly from growing. But tumor cells can be very clever and they can find their way to work around these strategies. What we're trying to do now is actually activate the body's own natural defenses, and so that the body itself can then fight off the cancer instead of trying to target the cancer cells directly. So unfortunately, a lot of patients don't respond to the current immuno-oncology therapies that are out there. Either they're just inherently non-responsive or they develop resistance to immunotherapies. What we're trying to do is to identify why some patients respond and why some patients don't respond, such that we can develop a next generation of therapies. You're actually taking the body's own natural defenses, but you're just kind of helping it along. So we're trying to expand beyond what's already there. And so I think that strategy is very unique and very different than what's been done for cancer therapy in the past.
Inside portion of the actual virus, so your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
Nick Carl is an experienced biochemist at Pfizer with a history of working in the pharmaceutical industry. Nick admits to our undercover journalist that those who've had COVID have stronger immunity than those who've received the Pfizer COVID vaccine.
When somebody is naturally immune, like they got COVID, they probably have better, like not better, but more antibodies against the virus. Because what the vaccine is like I said, that protein that's just on the outside. So it's just one antibody against one specific part of the virus. When you actually get the virus, you're going to start producing antibodies against like multiple pieces of the virus. And not only just like that outside portion, like the inside portion, the actual virus. So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
But don't take his word for it. Two other Pfizer scientists echo the same sentiment.
So I mean, well protected? Yeah. Like as much as the vaccine?
Probably more.
How so? Like how much more?
You're protected most likely for longer, since it was a natural response.
We're like bred and taught to be like vaccine is safer than actually getting COVID. You cannot like talk about this like in public. If you have antibodies built up, like you should be able to prove that you have those built up.
I mean, I still feel like I work for like an evil corporation. We're trying to keep track of everyone that's been vaccinated versus the census of how many people are actually reported. Basically, our organization is run on COVID money now. You don't talk about anything that can possibly implicate you or like big pharma. Like even if you shut the door to the office, it's kind of like, who's listening?
I specifically have like, oh god, I signed NDAs against this.
I mean, you have multiple companies that were basically given a crap ton of money to produce vaccines, and they're pushing them.
So what happens to the monoclonal antibody treatments?
Pushed to the side.
Why?
Money. It's disgusting. You're not wearing a wire, right?
Want to check?
I mean, I still feel like I work for like an evil corporation because it comes down to profits in the end, and I mean, I'm there to help people, not to make millions and millions of dollars. So I mean, that's the moral dilemma.
Billions and billions?
I'm trying to be nice.
No, yes, I hear you. I do. I mean, I'll still give you a hard time about it.
Basically, our organization is run on COVID money now.
How so?
Like, it netted like over $15 billion last year.
Chris Croce is a senior associate scientist with Pfizer. He goes on to explain a test that is currently taking place at Pfizer, not to determine the effectiveness, but to see if it is leading to heart attacks.
I'm glad you didn't get any myocarditis. Because that's a concern, right?
Yeah. More so for younger people.
Why?
That's what we're looking into right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so, we're we just sent like 3,000 patients samples to get tested for like elevated troponin levels.
Yeah.
To see if it's vaccine based or so.
What's it look like?
I don't know. We just sent that over this past week, and the last batch will be sent over next week. All external testing. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Because I mean, if not, then my opinion, that might pull something from the market.
If the scientists believe that the antibody works more effectively than the vaccines, it begs the question, what's with all the federal mandates, regardless of what the data says? These expressed views run contrary to the current public policy affecting millions of people. If you're on the inside of a pharmaceutical company, contact us at veritastips@protonmail.com and stay tuned. We have a hidden camera footage of executives at Pfizer.
It's an argument. Code yellow.
Code yellow, I don't know what that means.
Code yellow.
I have been doing some research and saw that Moderna and Pfizer have generally been pushing and investing in vaccination R&D ever since 2015 and even before. Vaccines are generally not associated with large profits. In the years preceding COVID-19, we see the following steps taken by Pfizer in their annual review. Immunization for all ages, more R&D for vaccines, partner with governments to vaccinate more people, and even investment in manufacturing facilities that produce vaccines. In 2018 report, we can see a lot of info regarding investment by governments in vaccination, supply chain logistics, as well as research and development in vaccines. Now in 2021, we have Pfizer who estimates $33.5 billion in COVID vaccine sales, which is more than a 70% profit, and this you can see is the case for Moderna as well as Pfizer. While some countries have incoming mandates for third booster shots, others are struggling to provide a single dose to their population. Public funding of $8.3 billion for these vaccines, but only a few hundred million in tax paid. In South America, Pfizer seeks liability protection from complications arising due to side effects.